crossing the street with the hand up, eating with the leg up. We're also starting eating more with our hands. Our driving behavior has changed completely. The community thinking instead of just the me thinking.
Yes. It doesn't matter how hard you try, the environment that you spend a lot of time in ends up changing you as a person and changing you, just as a person. Today we are going to talk about Filipino habits we adopted while living in the Philippines.
Yes. Little background story, we used to live in Austria, then in Miami, and then we moved to the Philippines. So adapting to the culture here has been interesting.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes challenging.
Yeah.
But also sometimes fun and eye-opening.
Yeah.
So I think we have some good things for today's video. And I'm going to hit it off with number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number one Filipino habit that we adopted is crossing the street with the hand up while other cars are driving.
Yeah, like pedestrian crossings here in the Philippines are very flexible. Cars do not stop.
Sometimes due to interpretation.
Exactly. So anywhere else in the world, when you approach a pedestrian crossing, the cars will slow down and let you cross because you will be fined. In Austria, if you don't let a pedestrian cross the road, you will be fined. And here in the Philippines, it started out that we would just stand and wait.
Yeah, we would just wait and wait and wait, and we're like, why is nobody stopping? We don't understand. But then we saw other Filipinos, locals here, crossing the road and literally just holding up a hand.
Right, you have to
stop the car.
You have to summon your Jedi power. You just stop the car by reaching out your hand.
Okay, second habit that we adopted is eating with a leg up.
Oh my god, this one is so hilarious because I didn't realize I was doing it until so many of you guys told me in the comment section that I'm actually doing it all the time. And I think it just started out because we'd do a lot of island hopping.
Yes,
I spend a lot of time in the province, eating on the go, like carinderias,
and it's
benches.
super casual, and it's, as you say, we're sitting on benches, and of course you want to sit comfortably. So what would we do?
Right leg goes right up on the chair.
Leg up. Arm on top.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you eat.
And it's just, it feels uncomfortable not to do it. It just comes so naturally. It's so normal not to do it.
And with that, we're also starting eating more with our hands. Because here in the Philippines, there's something called the budol fight. So it's actually a feast rolled out on a banana leaf, and what you do is usually eat it with your hands, which is very contrary to your British heritage, where everything is with like
in Western culture, like eating with your hands is usually limited to burgers or to sandwiches and that kind of stuff. Everything else is eaten with knife and fork. And here in the Philippines, it's spoon and fork, which we've also, like when we cook at home, it just seems more convenient now to use a spoon and fork instead of a knife and fork. And then obviously a lot of foods here in the Philippines with rice, it's just good to eat it with your hands. It's so
and
convenient.
when we are somewhere where we eat spontaneously and we, for example, get a food on a banana leaf or like, I don't know, like whatever, we just scoop it with our hands. So that's a new habit that we acquired here, which is fun.
Oh my god, can you imagine we go back to Austria and I would forget and just at Sunday lunch I start using my hands? My mom would be shocked.
Number 3. This is a good one. Our driving behavior has changed completely.
Oh, they're gonna revoke my license if I drive in Austria like this.
100%, because when you drive in Manila, you have to adapt to the driving behavior here, and it's a challenge. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, first of all, like even the laws are different. So you cannot turn right on red anywhere in Austria, and that's going to be something that's so hard to not forget when we're traveling and I come to a red light and you just feel like, if I don't turn, I'm gonna get honked at.
And when I drove here for the very first time, I felt so nervous and so overwhelmed with jeepneys and tricycles and people going in between cars, and I needed some chamomile tea afterwards because it was just so stressful. Now we are super used to it. But usually how traffic goes here is more like something out of a scene of Sparta.
Yeah.
This is Sparta!
People don't use an indicator. Like that was one big thing that I had to learn, to not use my indicator, because that's just giving away my intentions and people will cut you off. So if somebody's like chilling, driving slowly on the left lane, and you put your indicator, they put down the foot like, no, not you, sir.
Not today.
But there is an exception. The organic indicator. You put your hand out of the window, everybody's like, it's a human. And everybody stops and lets you go.
Yeah, it works magically. Try it. When you drive here, try sticking out your hand out of the window instead of using an indicator, and people will let you merge.
That being said, check your mirror. You don't want your hand to be ripped off by a scooter tearing past you. Oh yes, when you're coming out of a parking spot, people start randomly knocking your car.
Yes!
Which is people helping you come out of the parking spot.
Yeah,
so
and
there's
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I get it. I'm almost hitting, and it's more like saying, you go,
Exactly.
go, and then stop.
But the annoying thing is when you have a newer car and you have park sensors and cameras, like the sensors are just going beep, because everybody's standing around the car like, go.
Yeah, and in Austria, for example, it's more like go, and then stop. That's like, yeah, that was kind of, that's...
In Austria, nobody has to drive out of the parking spot.
And oh yeah, now I got it. Something that I realized here is there is no road rage. It's a miracle. Although it's very stressful to drive, and sometimes it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
But when you end up in a situation where road rage would usually start, and you would be swearing and like looking out of the window, you look to the other person and they're smiling at you and they're like, just, what should I do? We're in the same position.
It is the way it is.
It is the way it is. Okay, next one. Okay, something that we learned here, which is not very common in Austria, is the community thinking instead of just the me thinking.
Yes. In Austria, nobody, like, first of all, there are very few calamities in Austria.
Yeah.
It happens very seldom. There might be like avalanches or some floods, that kind of stuff. But everybody 100% relies on the government to take care of that. There's no community effort. So it all gets left to the government. Everybody stays out of it. But here in the Philippines, whenever there's a calamity or an earthquake, a storm, whatever it is, people come together. The community comes together and helps.
Yeah.
And we've tried to adopt that as much as possible. There were a few instances where we did some really cool, fun projects. I think during the typhoon, we went and bought 300 Jollibee meals. It's nice. It's nice to come together with other people and try to help.
Yeah, going with the flow when things don't work out. So we as Germans, as our friend Willy would say, we are 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So everything has to be super organized. We're super punctual. We work with Excel sheets when we do planning and stuff like that. So whenever
something isn't like to a certain schedule, everybody's like,
Oh, even like going to a restaurant and you order food and you haven't received the food after 10 minutes, people get very impatient and they are like irritated. But yeah, when we came to the Philippines, we learned that going with the flow is probably the best thing to do, because you are probably somewhere island hopping or whatever in a beautiful destinations anyways, and you're just enjoying yourself. If you have to wait a little bit longer, you'll probably meet some nice people on the road, have a nice chat, and that will make the best memories. And this is a great example of my cousin who visited the Philippines. She actually told me that their car had broke down, but she wasn't really upset or anything. And then instead, the learning was to take a motorbike, and then they met some really amazing people. And she said, I was so surprised that this little girl came up to me and gifted me a coconut from the garden.
Yeah.
Like just like that. So that's the memories.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's the memories that she can associate with, and I think it's we as foreigners living in the Philippines, we have adapted a lot already. So if you go to a restaurant and they don't have a certain item available,
that's normal. That's normal.
That's normal. Yeah, chill. You are in the Philippines. Just have a good time. Okay.
That was it?
That was it?
We have a few more, but you guys have to let us know, would you like to see a part 2 of this video? If yes, then please go in the comment section down below. We'll pin a comment, let us know in that pinned comment if we should do a part 2 of this video, and if there's anything specific, any habits that you would like to ask us, if we were able to observe it, please let us know in the comments.
And I would also like to know, if somebody moved to a different country, what are habits that you acquired or adapted in that country, and yeah, how you feel about it.
Exactly. By the way, we realized there are so many new people watching our videos that aren't yet subscribed. So if you're one of those people, please hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell. And with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Same time, same place.
Remember to stay awesome,
be positive,
and make it happen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.